This is a dual 10 gigabit SFP network adapter, one USB-C cable, two fiber ports, and inside a chip that normally lives in a server rack. I already ran full speed tests on this with a Mac Mini and a MacBook, link in the description if you want those numbers. But today in this specific video, I want to answer the question a lot of you have sent in. What is actually inside this thing and will it work on machine, whether that is a Windows PC, a Linux, home lap box, Proxmox or ixgbe host? Because this is not a generic adapter, and once you see how it is built, you will understand why. Now let's open it. The chassis itself is a single extruded aluminum block. There is no fan, there is no vent. The enclosure is the heatsink itself, and you will feel it get warm under sustained load. It gets sometimes too warm to touch, but that's completely okay. Inside, the first thing you will see is this: two separate boards. A large main board with the network hardware and a small daughter board roughly the size of an M.2 SSD that handles the USB-C side. They connect through a custom edge connector slot secured with screws. Now this modular design is deliberate and it is actually clever engineering. I will explain why in a moment. Let's go chip by chip on the daughter board. Starting from the USB-C port, the first chip you will see is CYPD5126. Now this is the USB-C port controller. Its job happens before any data moves. When you connect the Type-C cable, it figures out which way the cable is plugged in, negotiates the power delivery with your host machine, and once it confirms the connection can support Thunderbolt, it hands off and gets out of the way. It is the reason this feels plug and play rather than plug and pray. Now second is the Intel JHL7440, and here's where it gets interesting. The product is marketed as USB 4, but the JHL7440 is Intel's Titan Ridge, which is a Thunderbolt 3 controller, not the USB 4 in the strict sense. Now before you close the tab, this is not the problem. Thunderbolt 3 and USB 4 share the same physical spec and the same protocol foundation. What it actually does is it takes the Thunderbolt signal from your laptop and converts it into PCI lanes, the same language the network chip speaks. Now the third chip is this Winbond chip. 8 megabits of flash memory stores the firmware the JHL7440 reads at the boot, and without this, the bridge chip does not know how to initialize. Small chip, but it does very important job. Now fourth is on the back of the board. This is Pericom PCIe clock generator. Its only job is timing synchronization between the Thunderbolt bridge and the network controller. It keeps everything talking to each other without any signal drift. Now the daughter board takes that Thunderbolt signal and pushes converted PCI lanes through this edge connector straight down into the main board. And waiting on the other side is under this heatsink is the Intel 82599ES chip. If you have ever seen a server or a video on a server, you know this chip. It is a 10 gigabit Ethernet controller designed for enterprise use. For example, data centers, server racks, virtualization hosts, etc. It is not designed to sit inside a portable enclosure like this, but by building the Thunderbolt bridge as a separate swappable module, the manufacturer essentially tricks the 82599ES chip into thinking that it is installed in a standard desktop PCIe slot. The server chip never needs to know that it is inside a USB-C dongle on your desk. There are two SFP plus cages on the main board, meaning you can run direct attached copper for short runs to your switch, or drop in an optical transceiver with long fiber cables like I have, and you will have no RJ45 limitations. And here is why 82599ES matters beyond the spec sheet: compatibility. On Mac, Thunderbolt 3, 4 or USB 4 port, it is effectively plug and play. There is no need to hunt drivers. Apple's networking stack recognizes it by default and you will be online with 10 gig network in a few seconds. Now I have already ran this connected to my Mac M4 Mini and my MacBook Air, hitting speeds that basically max out the 10 GB ceiling. Full setup and speed test walkthrough is linked below and at the end of this video. Now on Windows, the Intel driver is either pre-installed or it's a one-click installation. You can download using the link in the description. You don't have to download any third-party packages, and it's very simple to install and set up. Now on Linux, this is where the 82599ES genuinely shines. The ixgbe driver is open source and baked into the kernel. Whether it's Ubuntu, Debian, Fedora, Arch, the adapter is recognized the moment you plug it in. TrueNAS, Proxmox, ixgbe, all confirmed working. Now with that said, any machine with a Thunderbolt 3 Type-C port, whether it's a laptop, mini PC, workstation, MacBook Air, iMac, Mac Mini, it is compatible with all of those machines. If you want to see exactly how I set this up on Mac Mini, configure the SFP Plus module and run full iPerf and real world transfer tests, that full video is right here, or maybe right here. You can watch that video next. Now if you are building a home lab editing off a NAS or want to edit off from your NAS, or just want a 10 gig network upgrade on your machine without PCIe slot, this is your path. If you have Mac Mini, you have Intel NUC with Thunderbolt port, this is the path you can choose. There is less heating when compared to RJ45, it's less expensive as well. You can learn how to set up a $100 10 gigabit network upgrade. That video is already on my channel. And in case if you do have a NAS server or a home lab with a PCI X4 slot available, we have already reviewed the single port SFP plus PCIe 2 X4 card for NAS and home lab builds. Link is in the description. Drop a comment, are you picking this up? Also, what would you run it on? Like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.